Okay, beautiful, Charlie. So this evening, because it's your first ever full facial, I think it'd be really nice if we do a double cleanse, a mask, and then spend a bit of time working on your neck and shoulders, just opening everything up for us to drain down. And then full facial massage, so just working into each muscle group, really releasing any tension that might have built up. And then we'll use the gua sha to drain, and that contrast in temperatures can feel really lovely as well. And then I'll finish up with some finishing products, and then you'll be all set to roll into bed when you go home. So to start, I'm just going to take a quick look at your skin and just see how it's feeling today. And with the change of seasons, our skin is going to tend on the drier side, especially as we start putting central heating on and moving into autumn. So I think we might focus on a little bit of hydrating today. So I'm going to take our first cleanse, and I'm going to use a milk cleanser. Everything I'm going to use is super gentle and calming products, especially as we haven't worked together before, so it's just an opportunity for me to get to know how your skin reacts and what products best suit you. And so I'm just gently working in the milk and just lifting up any SPF or products that you've had on throughout the day. Just a really nice, thorough first cleanse. And it also just helps to set the tone for the rest of the facial. So although I'm not massaging, I'm still using quite a firm pressure. And then bringing that down onto the neck and then finishing on the temples. I'm going to take my first set of mitts. And just gently remove that cleanse, starting at the neck and working up. And just making sure I remove all of that product. Beautiful. And then I'm going to take our second cleanse. And for that I'm going to use a gentle cleansing oil. And again, starting on the temples, coming down onto the jawline, including the neck and sweeping up. And just finding any circular motions, working in with my fingertips over the forehead and over the cheeks. And then gliding to finish, so lifting upwards. One last big scoop down and then circling on the temples to finish. And again, removing that with my next set of mitts. And just gently gliding over the skin and just removing all of that oil and prep for the mask. Again, holding on the temples, gentle circles, and then lifting off. Perfect. I'm just going to start by applying our hydrating mask and gently working up the face, keeping our strokes nice and smooth so everything flows in together. Looking up the nose and over the bridge, and then out across the forehead, and circling around the eye, and then doing the same on the other side. Perfect. Between the lip and the nose, and then 3 strokes across the cheek, up the other side, and then out across the forehead. And taking any excess and starting with circles on the 3rd eye, and then sweeping all the way around the face, and then doing a half circle, and then a figure of 8 around the eyes. And finishing with that circle on the 3rd eye, and then off the bridge of the nose. Beautiful. And just starting with some dry work into the scalp. And working either side of the ears with my peace fingers and just a gentle pumping. And just aiming to wake up all those lymph nodes. And then returning both hands and starting with just 2 fingers and circling behind the ears. And just slowly lifting up into the scalp. And just a gentle pressure as I'm pushing down and lifting up. And then doing pressure points down the hairline. As I rock my body in, I apply pressure, and as I rock out, I release. And this can really help to ground you and feel present in your body. And as I return, I'm going to move my hands just slightly further out and keep that same motion of applying pressure and then gently releasing. And I'm going to do one more line of those, just slightly further towards the ears, applying pressure and then releasing. I'm going to take both my hands and place them over the scalp and gently pressing down, and then release. Perfect. And then scooping underneath, I'm going to hold the head and tuck my fingers into the occiput, and then just gently rock. It can feel so nice to have your head just held. Feel really comforting. And I'm going to gently lower and then find my oil. I'm going to start with my oil in the center of the chest, and I'm just working out towards the shoulders. And just gently spreading the oil over where we're going to be working. And then scooping round and pulling up to behind the ears. Again, back to the center of the chest. And gentle circles out towards the shoulders. And then using the shoulders to rotate in to the center of the chest and then work back out. Working in and out. Finding a gentle flow. And then coming to work around the back of the trapezius and pulling all the way up to the occiput. And again, that big stretch of the neck. And go all the way into the scalp and then release. I'm going to work from one side of the chest to the other. Just a gentle wave. Nice and soothing. Just a slight pumping motion. Really subtle from my wrist to my fingertips. And then taking peace fingers either side of the clavicle. And again, just that slight pumping motion from my fingertips. Another big stretch, really working into the back of the neck. And then rotating again, center of the chest out towards the shoulders. Lifting up and slightly tipping over to the left side. And then this opens up so much space for some beautiful stretching. And just opening up for us to drain down into. And just using that gentle lifting pressure. Working one hand and then following with the other. So pushing out from the center of the chest all the way to the shoulder and then pulling up to behind the ear and then following with pulling motion out towards the shoulder and again following up to behind the ear. And so it just feels like one hand flows into the other. And this really puts your mind at ease and allows you to relax into the massage. And then coming with two fingers just to behind the ear, and I'm just going to start by circling upwards towards myself. Really light pressure here. And then when I get to the top of the ear, I'm going to use the whole of my hand to drain down and pull back up. And I'm going to start again from the base of the ear, lifting up towards me, seeing how many little circles I can fit into that space between the ear and the hairline, and then draining down. We're just opening up those lymphatic pathways, helping everything to drain. And then I'm going to take this opportunity to work into the scalp from this angle. And again, just that shampooing motion. My fingertips using quite a lot of pressure and just looking to move the scalp rather than just move the hair. It's going to be really lovely if someone suffers with headaches or just feels like they need to switch off. And then sweeping back through center, lifting and just holding here a moment. And just sinking back into the bed. Allowing that moment to ground before we turn over to the other side. And again, straighten with those 1,000 hands. And the push and pull. Finishing up behind the ear. And gliding round. And working with one hand from the shoulder and then the other. I'm using my thumb to work into any areas of tension. Feeling for anywhere that might need a little bit more attention today. And then taking those same 2 fingers and working from the base of the ear and circling up to the top. And then when I get to the top, using a flat hand to drain all the way down and coming back round and starting again. And then again, draining down and supporting the head with my right hand, and with my left we're going to start circling into the hair. Creating that nice deep pressure, working into any areas of tension. And just aiming to make a little bit more space. And give us a little release. And then using both hands to comb through the hair. And then again, peace fingers either side of the ears. And just really light pumping motion. Lifting and releasing up towards me. Perfect. Then draining back down the neck. And creating a really nice stretch there. And coming back into center, one hand and then the other. supporting the head as we come back and land. And then holding underneath the occiput, and creating that support. And holding there just a moment, circling behind the ears, peace fingers with both hands. And then again, pressure points down the scalp. Beautiful. I'm going to remove the mask with our next set of mitts. And then we're going to apply our oil for our facial massage. And working all the way up the face, including the nose, scooping around underneath the cheekbones. And then taking any excess and applying that to the chest and round to the back of the neck for our gua sha later. And then when I return, I'm going to start lifting up the SEM. So working from the collarbone to behind the ear, along the sternocleidomastoid, and just really pulling back towards myself. Lifting with each repetition and stretching out the neck and elongating. I'm going to repeat that move 3 more times. So 1, 2, and 3. And then I'm going to follow with that same movement, but this time finishing in front of the ears. So from collarbone to in front of the ears, following the platysma. And I'm just lifting again up towards myself. And just creating quite a lot of strength through this stretch. So I want to see the cheeks lift as I glide upwards. And I'm going to repeat this move just 3 more times. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And now I'm going to take my peace fingers either side of the jawline. I'm just gliding out towards the ears. And this is just warming up all of the lymphatic system that sits underneath our jawline. And creating a nice flow in that movement. So 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to come to work underneath the chin on the mentalis muscles, so lifting up towards myself. 1, 2, and 3. And then up and over the chin. 1, 2, and 3. And then either side of the lips. 1, 2, and 3. And turning my hands out and doing that same stretching motion, but following Risorius, which sits lips to the corner of the ears. So stretching outwards, my pressure's down into the bed, but also still lifting up towards myself. I can use the jaw to turn and create a nice bit of effleurage. It's just opening up the lower face. Just using those circles to work into the muscles around the jaw that can often become tense. And then using my whole hand circle, so from wrist to fingertips. And creating nice big open circles. And then going back in with my more focused work over the masseter. And again, lifting up towards myself. One finger walks and the rest follow. And gliding up. I'm going to come into a prayer motion on the chin and lift all the way up to the top of the forehead. And gliding all the way up. Letting my thumbs land on the forehead as I stretch. I'm going to repeat that twice more. So 1, 2, and then I'm going to open the face. 1, 2, and 3. And then coming to work on the levator of the upper lip. I'm just going to be lifting up towards myself and then opening the face to drain. And then again, working on those levators. And then opening. And hooking in underneath the zygomatic arch. Gently holding here. And slowly making my way out towards the ears. And just really gentle pulsing. And then opening. Really subtle pulsing. And then traveling out nice and slowly. And then on my next return, I'm going to work around the eyes with my peace fingers. Circling and then rejoining on the temples. I'm going to reverse this circle coming up the nose and out over the corrugators. And then working with the third eye and then all the way across frontalis. And that really slow stretch. Traveling slightly further out towards the ears. And then back in towards the center. And using my thumbs, I'm going to stretch across the brows. And then working on just one side, I'm going to stretch halfway, replace and stretch the other. And step it back, stretch halfway, replace and stretch the other. And then working all the way up towards the hairline, stretching out from the center. 1, 2 and 3 to finish, and then repeating on the other side, stretching halfway, anchoring and stretching the other half, stepping it back, stretching halfway, anchoring and stretching the other half, and stepping it back. And then again, stretching the whole way, moving up frontalis. 1, 2, and 3 to finish. And then we can do this with both hands. And then using the whole of my hand to stretch all the way and then replace. And then just tilting the direction of that stretch. And coming together in prayer, scooping all the way to the chin and then all the way back up. And finding this opening and returning. You can go down the bridge of the nose and then coming back up. I'm going to do the sequence 3 more times, so traveling down, gathering and scooping all the way up. 1, 2, and 3. Beautiful, working from the center of the chest with a big lift and then turning and turning it again to face the left side. And this gives us lots of lovely space to work. And bringing that stretch that we did before from the shoulder, but this time finishing in front of the ear. You can do 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then lifting up, so spiraling up the face. And just creating C shapes with my hands. And then gliding out along the jaw. And then using, whenever I feel I need, that flat hand to drain down the neck. And coming back along the jaw again, it's just that little shelf that I'm forming underneath. And then draining down. And then come to circle over the masseter. I'm just creating a little cross friction stretch, a push and a pull. And then using both hands to gently increase that pressure. And then again, working out a long risorius, so peace fingers either side of the lips, all the way out towards the ears. Scooping underneath the zygomatic arch. and lifting up. And there we go, scooping round and lifting up. And bring that same stretch all the way up to frontalis. And just a flat, heavy hand stretching up from the brow and draining down the neck. I'm going to pick up my gua sha, taking that flat edge and gliding down from behind the ear to the shoulder. I'm really taking my time with this. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And following the same pattern as we did with the massage, so starting underneath the jawline and keeping the tool flat in line with the mandible and working down the neck. You can repeat that 1, 2, 3, and 4, and drain. And then turning my tool so we're hooking both under the jaw and under the cheekbone with the shape of the gua sha. And then draining down the neck. And taking that flat side and working all the way up, followed by that flat hand. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and draining all the way down. Taking my point, I'm going to hook in and under and lifting gently up and release. I'm going to repeat that, hooking up and under and gently releasing and taking that little curve and using that underneath the eye. Again, just a really slight pumping motion as we glide out. And then down the neck. And using that long flat side again as we lift up and out and across the forehead. And doing our final drains for this side. And putting my tool down where I'll need it later. And coming to lift and lower back to center. Applying gentle pressure. And then lowering. So feel like we're grounded in the center. We're ready to move over to the other side, where we're going to repeat the same sequence. Perfect. And once we've applied that little bit more oil, we've got more slip and glide. And we can start again, so moving from the shoulder up onto the face. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and start to spiral my hands up towards myself. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then out and along the jawline. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then draining down the neck. Gentle push, and then lifting back up. I'm going to come to work over the master and just creating that push and pull. And a little bit of tension and then a release. Almost forms like a yin and yang shape. And then draining away. Coming either side of the lip and draining out. And you can drain down the neck and then coming back up, scooping underneath the cheekbone and circling with my other hand. And we're lifting, but we're also draining. I'm going to do that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then lifting with both hands over the brow and pulling up towards myself. And then again, draining down the neck. And taking my gua sha tool again. And pushing all the way down to the shoulder. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then scooping underneath the jaw. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Draining all the way down. Turning my tool so both curves are gliding in line with the face. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then back down the neck. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then taking the flat side of my tool, we're going to pull all the way up. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then draining down. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And taking my little point, I'm going to hook in and under the cheekbone and just holding. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then repeating 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and then using that tiny little curve, I'm going to work under the eye. 1, 2, 3 and 4, and draining all the way down. 1, 2, 3 and 4, and working up over the forehead. 1, 2, 3 and 4, and draining down to finish. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Lovely. Scoop round the shoulder and gently lift back into center. And pressing down into the scalp. And again, circling behind the ears. Gentle pumping. And again, holding at the chin, gliding all the way up, opening over the forehead and draining to behind the ears. So from the chin, lifting all the way up, opening on the forehead, and then draining all the way down. I'm going to take my last set of mitts just to remove that oil. And as always, hovering that warmth and starting on the chest, lifting up the neck and turning to a clean side. Remove the oil from the face. And lifting up the nose. And just the natural pressure of my hands as they land. I'm going to mist with a lovely rose mist, just holding and spritzing up, allowing it to land, and really gently pushing that in to aid absorption, and then finishing with a night cream. Just gliding all over the face, making sure nowhere gets missed. Okay, bring any excess down over the neck, and then finally landing on the chest. And I'm going to finish with a head hold. Just light pressure coming through my fingertips. And there we go, Charlie, that's your first facial done.